Are we humans really the first civilization on Earth? If a long time ago, it once existed on Earth.
地球上曾经存在过
highly developed prehistoric civilization. Can we find them? The answer to the question may send shivers down your spine. Geology tells us a harsh truth. Even if there is a prehistoric civilization, then there is very little evidence that they have survived to this day. For example, dinosaurs ruled the Earth for 180 million years. But we only found a few thousand complete fossils. On average, only one remains every 10,000 years. What's even more terrifying, the Earth has been devouring its own history. Plate movement. The Earth's crust is constantly being recycled. Most of the surface will be eroded over millions of years, remodeled or buried. The seabed is every 170 million years. It will be completely updated. If a city was built 100 million years ago, then today we can't find anything. Those skyscrapers would have collapsed long ago, or be swallowed up by the mantle, or turn into dust. Here's why. Scientists have proposed the Silurian hypothesis. They are not trying to prove that prehistoric civilizations really existed. Instead, it proposes a deeper one, even more disturbing things. Even if prehistoric civilizations really existed, we can never know about it. But behind the Silurian hypothesis, there is a more realistic motive. Scientists wonder, our human civilization will be 100 million years from now. What traces will be left? The answer may surprise you. There will be no mobile phone fossils in 100 million years. Car wreckage is also not dug up. But you will be in the rocks. Discover some very weird chemical signals. The first signal is an imbalance in carbon. We humans have been here for more than 100 years. Crazy burning of coal, oil, and natural gas. Release all the carbon buried underground for hundreds of millions of years. This results in the ratio of carbon isotopes in the atmosphere. Unique changes have occurred. Carbon-13 is decreasing. This change, it will be permanently recorded in sediments all over the world. Like fingerprints left at a crime scene. I can't wipe it off even if I want to. The second signal is the rampage of the climate. The planet is having a fever. The ocean is turning sour. Oxygen is decreasing. These drastic changes, it will turn into chemical evidence in the rocks. We use a lot of nitrogen fertilizers, mess up the nitrogen cycle. This will also be in the sedimentary layer, leaves abnormal nitrogen isotope ratios. And plastic. Have you ever thought, where do those plastic bags that you throw away go? They are slowly depositing on the ocean floor, stuck layer after layer. Tens of millions of years later, this becomes strata, a strange strip of color. Anyone who sees it will know. At this point in time, a kind appeared on Earth, creatures that make permanent garbage. Industrial society also put lead, chromium, and tin. Earth and other elements are scattered everywhere. Future strata, a sudden spike in the concentration of these metals will be shown, like a giant alarm light. Till later civilizations, something terrible has happened here. But the most shocking evidence is nuclear radiation. In the 50s and 60s of the last century, humans have conducted a large number of ground-based nuclear tests. These explosions released massive amounts of neutrons into the atmosphere, double global carbon-14 levels in less than 10 years. This signal has spread all over the world. Carbon-14 pulses persist in the strata for tens of thousands of years. Clearly tell future observers. In a certain few years in the middle of the 20th century, a certain species on this planet has mastered atomic energy and use it to make weapons. The mark of our civilization is not a magnificent building. It's a chemical fingerprint all over the world, like the rings on the trunk. Circle by circle records what we have done. Humanity has put its own influence, extending from the deepest part of the ocean, reached into outer space. Even the moon has our footprints. Scientists of the future, there is no need to find the fossil of an Apple phone. Just analyze the chemical composition of the rock. You can know that we were here, know what we've done. But here's a spine-chilling problem. If these are the marks that any industrial civilization will leave behind, that is in the ancient strata of the earth, could it be that there is something similar hidden in it? If a long, long time ago, another species also experienced the Industrial Revolution, the best proof, will it be those scattered among the ancient rocks? Weak chemical fluctuations. So scientists began to study the history of the Earth, the most severe climate catastrophe. Look at the ancient formations. Does it show similar multiple evidence? Then they found something very strange. 56 million years ago, the Earth suddenly had a high fever. Scientists call this event Paleocene. Eocene extremely hot event, PTM for short. In a surprisingly short geological time, the global average temperature has soared by 5 to 8 degrees Celsius. At that time, there were almost no glaciers on Earth. Subtropical rainforests grow all the way to the Arctic Circle. The water temperature in the Arctic Ocean reached 21 degrees. You can swim in the Arctic in your swimming trunks. But it really made scientists gasp. It is chemical data. Sediments from the Permian period show there is a large amount of hydrogen carbon that is suddenly released into the atmosphere. The ratio of carbon-13 and carbon-12 has dropped sharply. This is the same as what we are doing now, almost identical. It was as if it were 56 million years ago. There is some kind of industrial revolution on Earth. Something is burning like crazy. Large amounts of carbon are emitted into the air. Wouldn't this be too coincidental? And PTM is not isolated. In the millions of years after it, there were several inexplicable times. Its wonderful warming spike. Scientists call them the Eocene mysterious origin layer. Each time the temperature suddenly spikes. Carbon cycle disorder, ocean hypoxia. Look at it even further. There are many more such strange things. Cretaceous marine hypoxia event 90 million years ago. Large areas of the sea suddenly lost oxygen. The Permian mass extinction 252 million years ago. Carbon isotopes plummeted. 96% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial species. It died in a short period of time. Chemical bands left by these events in the rock formations. It looks like something that may have been left behind in the industrial age. Striking similarity. Carbon surges, skyrocketing temperatures, and ecosystems collapsing. Then the question arises, could these be the fingerprints of prehistoric industrial civilization? Peterman's carbon base increase. Will it be the death wail of a lost civilization? Could it be that they burn their world to hot? Eventually, it leads to destruction, leaving behind evidence. If so, this will be the most shocking discovery in human history. We'll completely rewrite our understanding of the Earth. But scientists quickly poured cold water on this exciting idea. They pointed out, Peterman is relatively fast in geology, but the whole process lasted for tens of thousands of years. And the Industrial Revolution of our mankind, it took only 200 or 300 years. It's more than 100 times faster. If there really is a prehistoric civilization, their industrialization should also be short-lived. It can't drag on that long, and there are many natural explanations for PTM. For example, a large-scale volcanic eruption burned off the underground coal seam, or the sudden melting of the seabed methane hydrate releases methane, or some planetary feedback mechanism has been triggered. These all explain the carbon surge. There is no need to assume what prehistoric civilization. More critically, Even if there is a prehistoric civilization, it took hundreds of years to complete industrialization. The geological record may also not be visible at all. Why? It takes time for sedimentary layers to build up. Animals will turn the soil around. Chemicals can spread. An event that only lasts a few hundred years. In the strata, it will blur into a pattern that lasts for thousands of years, even tens of thousands of years of blurred bands. It's like you want to draw a thin line on the beach. But the waves came. The thread was wiped out. It became a large faint trace. What does this mean? Imply an industrial civilization that rose rapidly and quickly destroyed. In the strata, only a faint one may remain, almost invisible gray stains. So PTM is most likely not evidence of prehistoric civilizations. But this hypothesis leads to a more grand thinking. If we humans are gone now, what will be left in 100 million years? Will we also become rocks? A blurry chemical ripple. It is so vague that those who come after it do not notice it at all. Further, this question is not only about the past of the planet. It's also about the future of the universe. Imagine this. In some distant galaxy, there is a planet that looks a lot like Earth. There is also intelligent life there. They also found fire. Tools were invented. Built the city. Finally entered the industrial age. Then they also face climate change, resource depletion, and ecological collapse. Could this be a universal law in the universe? Every technological civilization must go through this hurdle. The question of a civilization changing its own climate. It is likely to plague every technology in the universe. Society, if this is true, then the ecological crisis brought about by industrialization, it may not be a tragedy unique to humanity, but all intelligent life, the universe-level exam that you have to face, and those civilizations that hang up, their collapsed fingerprints, it may have been engraved in the sky of other worlds, waiting for us to find out. The idea, it has given birth to a new research direction. Find an alien civilization, industrial traces. Find an alien version of the human world. In 2018, NASA held a technical characteristics seminar. Think this sounds like a sci-fi idea. It turned into serious scientific research. Scientists began to discuss it seriously. Can we detect industrial pollution from distant planets? Can we see the giant structures built by aliens? The climate of a planet. How will it respond to the emergence of intelligent life? To answer these questions, a scientific team has built a set of mathematical models. Simulate the climate of civilization and his planet. How do they influence each other? They civilized. Think of it as a giant energy harvester. Then ask when this machine is spinning faster and faster. What happens? The answer given by the computer silenced everyone. Model display. Any civilization. It is possible to take 4 completely different paths. The first path is a massive recession. Civilization is expanding wildly. Exhaust resources. The planet is getting hotter. It is becoming more and more uninhabitable. The population exceeded the carrying limit. Then it suddenly collapsed, fell to 1/10 of the peak. Some people barely survive in an abandoned world. But the high-tech society is finished. The second path is sustainable development. Civilization wakes up in time, began to control the population, shift from fossil fuels to clean energy, restore the ecology. Demographic and environmental impacts eventually stabilized. Achieve balance. This is the best ending. Civilization and planet coexist harmoniously. You can go on all the way. The third path is complete collapse. This is the most terrifying. Population and pollution are rising out of control. Environmental pressure is increasing. Finally, a certain tipping point is triggered. The entire system collapsed in an instant. It can't be stopped like an avalanche. The population is almost zero. The planet became no longer suitable for survival. Civilization extinct or retreat to the Stone Age. This may only take 1,000 years. The fourth road is the most desperate. Obviously worked hard. It will still collapse. Imagine a civilization. They found the problem. Try to solve it as well. Develop clean energy. Formulate environmental protection policies. Strive to reduce emissions. But it was too late. Early destruction. Irreversible climate feedback has been triggered. Permafrost melts to release methane. Glacier disappearance reduces surface reflection. Ocean circulation stops. These feedbacks form a vicious circle. Even if all emissions are stopped, collapse is still inevitable. Only one of the four paths leads to success. The other three point to some form of disaster. This is the big filter in the universe. It will screen out most civilizations. If there are any other civilizations in the universe that have experienced this, can we find out? Traditional search for aliens. It is listening to radio signals. Wait for them to take the initiative to contact. But now scientists have new ideas. That is not waiting for a signal. Go straight to the traces they inadvertently left behind. For example, air pollution. We now know that there are more than 5,000 exoplanets. Some of them, we can study their atmospheric composition. When a planet passes in front of a star, starlight passes through the planet's atmosphere. Different molecules absorb specific wavelengths of light. Fingerprints are left on the spectrum. But scientists are looking for more than that. They want to find industrial pollution. In 2014, a team from Harvard's Smithsonian proposed it. We can look for CFCs, that is, chlorofluorocarbons. This thing is completely man-made. It was previously used in refrigerators and sprays. Nature does not produce it at all. If chlorofluorocarbons are detected in the atmosphere of a planet, that's almost certain. There is or was an industrial civilization there. What's even weirder is that the researchers point to a possibility. If you only detect long-lived Greenfertin, for example, the half-life of 1,000 years, but short-lived ones cannot be detected. For example, it decomposes in a few decades. This means that a factory there has been. Work has been suspended for a long time. Short-lived pollutants have long been decomposed. Only those with a long lifespan are still wandering in the atmosphere. In other words, you may be witnessing the specter of a dead civilization, a world that collapsed tens of thousands of years ago. Only the ozone killer is left as a tombstone. In 2021, the NASA team published another study. This time the target is nitrogen dioxide. It is car exhaust and the reddish-brown gas emitted by power plants. On Earth, 76% of nitrogen dioxide comes from industrial activities. The research team calculated, if a terrestrial planet is on it, there is an industrial civilization similar to Earth. We observe with next-generation space telescopes, approximately 400 hours. The spectral characteristics of nitrogen dioxide can be detected. 400 hours sounds long, but it took Hubble 280 hours to take photos of the liftoff. It's totally doable. The key question is how to determine that these gases are produced by industry, not from volcanoes. The method is to build a model. Calculate the spontaneous combustion process of this planet. The maximum amount of CO2 or chlorofluorocarbons can be produced. If the measured value far exceeds the upper limit, and there are other anomalous signs, for example, greenhouse gas surges, climate imbalances, that is most likely industrial activity. Green feed is particularly valuable because it is currently known. No biological or natural process can produce it. Detected. There is only one explanation for it. Now, astronomers, preparations are underway for this cosmic climate detective work. A new generation of space telescopes is being designed, specifically used to analyze planetary atmospheres. Scientists are also rummaging through old data. Look for any clues that might have been overlooked. Abnormal infrared radiation. It may be waste heat emitted by the giant structure. Strange stellar light changes. It could be that man-made objects are orbiting. But if we really find out evidence of an extraterrestrial industrial civilization, what would it mean? Let's say a planet the size of Earth was detected. The atmosphere is rich in chlorofluorocarbons and nitrogen dioxide. The temperature is high, climate imbalance. We'll know. In some distant solar system, maybe 10,000 years ago, a civilization has reached a very high level of technology. If the short-lived contaminants disappear, only long-lived ones remain. Then their factory has been silent for a long time. Civilization may have collapsed or become extinct. We read, it will be a tragedy engraved in the atmosphere. But if we found a planet, the industrial gas content is moderate and stable. The climate is warm but balanced. There are no signs of loss of control. That's different. This means that a certain civilization succeeded. They survived the most dangerous stages. Sustainable development has been achieved. He is still alive and well. This will be the most exciting discovery in the universe. It proves that large filters can be crossed. It gives hope to all mankind. Even zero results make sense. If we observed thousands of planets with potential for life, but no signs of industrial civilization were found, it may indicate that technological civilization is extremely rare, or usually short-lived. Fermi's paradox asks where the aliens are. Maybe the answer is, most of them after hundreds of years of industrial carnival, burned his own planet, then disappeared. The silence of the universe. That in itself is probably the most terrible warning. A universe full of civilizational purposes. Everywhere there are chemical tombstones left by losers. But there is also a good side. This research itself is helping us. Think of climate change as a cosmic problem. Instead of Earth-specific troubles to study, scientists have gained a new perspective. Study of the exoplanets Venus and Mars. It has greatly deepened our understanding of atmospheric chemistry and understanding of the runaway greenhouse effect. There is an interesting example and winter. This concept was originally studied by scientists. It was discovered during the Martian sandstorm. They built models, simulate how Martian dust affects temperature, then suddenly realized, even the Earth's atmosphere, full of dust from nuclear explosions, the same thing happens. The sun is blocked. The temperature plummeted. The crops were cut off. Human civilization may perish in the cold winter after nuclear war. This discovery changed the nuclear strategy throughout the Cold War. Studying other planets is like a doctor. Many cases have been studied. Only then can we better treat the patient in front of us. The atmosphere of a distant planet somewhere in the universe. It may be shining with the light of prosperous civilization, or just the afterglow of a pile of ashes. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. He has seen countless species rise and fall. 5 mass extinctions have been seen. I've seen glaciers come and go. The ocean rises and falls. He may have seen civilizations we don't know about.
那些在岩石记录中
Only intelligent life with vague chemical ripples remains. And now he's looking at us. Look at our species that calls itself Homo sapiens. Will there really be wisdom?
会不会真的有智慧？